I failed terribly here. I say I failed terribly here. Like, I'm happy with my salary, but like, yeah, there was some back and forth there, and that was something I was not prepared for. So another good area for people just to be aware of, is I had cleared the loop. I was ecstatic. Like, it felt like it was going to be a good team. Liked my manager. And then it was like, all right, now that you've cleared the loop, we're going to go ahead and start finalizing your offer and getting you something to sign. And before, so the advice is get something in writing before you start negotiating. I didn't do that. So I started negotiating salary because the recruiter like called me and was like, "Hey, you passed your loop. What are you thinking for salary?" And I was like, "Well, I've done some of my research on things like levels, stud FYI, and like blind. I don't know the blind is accurate as like levels or glass door, but I mean, it gives you a ballpark. And so I kind of had a ballpark of what I was expecting for the salary, and we went back and forth. And when it came down to it, like when I got that written offer, it was at the very bottom of what I was willing to accept. And I felt like I could have gotten more out of that conversation if I wasn't so scared of walking away from Amazon. But I was like, I've made it. This is the end of the road. This is the job that I wanted. I'm just going to take what they offer me. Um, so yeah, I don't think I entered that negotiation from a very strong point and I think they knew it that I was
Well, I
sold.
mean I mean, you're part of a population of people that takes orders, and you've never thought about your compensation in the military. It's just you're part of the bracket, and when you spend more time in, the money goes up, and that's it. Like the only time we ever think about our pay is when Congress announces like what inflationary percentage bump we get, and like is your housing allowance changing? Like we don't think about these things, and honestly, like, I completely agree with you. It's very awkward the first time you ever do it where someone's like, "I'll pay you X amount of money," and then you have to go back and be like, "No, pay me more money." Like, it just
And here's why
sounds.
you should. You have to
Yeah,
like prove to them that you're
exactly.
worth it.
Yeah, and so, for a lot of people, coming out of the military, like, that's very you don't need to be coming out of the military. If you're not a confrontational person, that's very weird. So, like, it I can definitely see why that's something you would have struggled with, and you're definitely not the only person who's done that. So, you get that offer and you sign it? Like, you accept it?
Yes, because in the end, and again, this is coming from the military. It was way more money than I've ever made in my life. So I was looking at it and going, am I really going to argue about this? Or is this enough for me to make it? Do I feel like it's going to be like, I'm going to feel so undervalued that I can't do the job? No. So yeah, it was like, I have a job. That was the goal. I'm getting paid a good amount of money and I'm working in a team that I want to work for. So it was like, whatever. The rest would have been a bonus. I'm not going to get hung up on it. I'm just taking it. And so yeah, I
Yeah.
went ahead and said,
No. I understand that. Yeah, it is very interesting. Like, you get it it's the compensation thing is definitely very strange, and for people who are getting ready for your transition, like, understand that that's an aspect that you're gonna have to face, and, it's very weird for us because, especially if you're working in tech, you can make a lot of money, but most of the offers are gonna be way more than they're paying you, even if that offer is 100% lowballing you based off the current going rate for someone in your position. So just take the time to understand what that going rate is so that you're not just getting, like, lowballed, for because you just were getting paid E5 salary, and now someone's like, "Here's a six-figure offer," like, and you're like, "I'll take it," even though you're getting screwed, so just think about that.
yeah, I would just say the last thing that you want to happen there is, I mean, you need to be educated enough that, I mean, it very rarely happens outside of the military, but some people do talk salary. Some people talk compensation. And so the first time you're around your coworkers and you hear one of your coworkers say what they're making, if it's way outside the ballpark of what you're making, you're going to feel super undervalued. And you're going to be like, oh, what am I doing here? These people don't respect me at all. So you do have to have some awareness there going into those conversations.